Should you own gold in 2022? How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Empire Precious Metals. If you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a guy in a bucket talking about precious metals, so make sure you blast that subscribe button, get the bell notification clicked. That way you get updated with any new content. Today I am talking about whether or not you should own gold in 2022. Obviously, by the display on my desk, you know that I am bullish on gold. I have devoted my entire YouTube channel to the stacking of silver and gold. And in the last 2 years, I've actually been a lot more bullish on gold. My tastes and habits have changed, as well as my strategies for stacking both metals. I've started to buy and sell silver as a flip, and I am holding gold for my long-term savings. There's a bunch of reasons as to why I am doing this. I've discussed it in many videos, but for the sake of this video, I did want to talk about inflation. Again, we just saw recently that inflation hit a 7% rate, which is the highest it's been in the last 40 years. I talked to my coin shop owner, Steve, about this, and today I actually have a special guest who's going to dig into this a little bit deeper as to why you should own gold in 2022. With me today, I have Mr. Nick Luksha. He's the managing partner of Tesoro Capital Partners. He's got over 15 years of business experience in capital markets as a director of companies. He's got a vast network of value-add capital sources, including high net worth retail investors, family offices, institutional investors, broker-dealers, and so on. In one particular case, he actually partnered with Michael Iverson, who co-founded Fortuna Silver Mines and turned it into a successful silver producer with operating mines in Peru and Mexico. And it's actually a multi-billion-dollar company. Michael actually came out of retirement after seeing rocks with amazing mineralization. So he wanted to make his last hurrah, his crown jewel, the legacy that he's going to leave with a new company that Nick, my guest, also is a director in, called Prospect Ridge Resources. The ticker symbol, I'm going to actually put it down below. It's PRRSF, which we're going to discuss among other topics in this interview. All right, everybody, I am very excited to have Nick Luksha, Prospect Ridge Resources President. Nick, how are you?
Very good. And yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. You and I got to chat a little bit about where you are from, and you're north of the border. If you want to tell the viewers a little bit about where you are up in Canada.
Sure thing. I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia on the west coast, just a couple hours north of Seattle. And our flagship properties, the Holy Grail and Noss Creek, are much further north in a place called Terrace, British Columbia, and that's just south of the Alaskan border.
And you've been up there for how long? Your whole life?
I've been in Vancouver since about 1994, should I say most of the time since 1994, originally from Toronto, Eastern Canada.
Gotcha.
And I spent considerable time of my life in the United States and Mexico, and done lots of traveling in Europe and other places as well.
Very nice. I as you can see, obviously today's topic is about gold. The majority of my channel is pretty much focused on silver and gold, but mainly this stuff here. And recently, with the way the inflation rates have been and everything, this is on a lot of people's minds. So I figured it would be a great opportunity to get an expert such as yourself on the channel to discuss it with me. Let's just get started here. Actually, I have a couple of questions for you. First of all, central banks around the world, they're about to raise rates in tandem for the first time in over a decade. Historically, hikes like this, they've led to an average of around 30% appreciation for gold. So that's pretty much implying an increase in price of a spot around 2,350. I've had some analysts on the channel. They were predicting end of 2021, $2,500 gold. Obviously, we didn't hit that mark. So I'm curious, how profitable is gold mining at those prices?
Extremely. It's profitable as it is. So at those prices, it's extremely profitable. It's inevitable that interest rates are going to go up. It's inevitable that inflation is coming. It's a matter of how quickly and how much. So, a lot of people thought it would come faster than it did at the end of 2021, and it hasn't.
Yeah.
And that's because the powers that be are not eager to do so, because it's going to cause a lot of pain. In the market. It's going to hurt a lot of people, and they don't want to do that. So they've been holding off, but it's coming. It's a matter of when and how much. And for gold, that will be great. So, Gold struggled a little bit, but it's going up. I think probably by the end of the second quarter of 2022, we're going to start to see some real movement.
Okay.
And, our company is in an exciting position when it does.
So there's a lot of, billion-dollar producers who've reported depleted mines, and, they've expressed dire conditions when it comes to being able to discover new deposits. So it's really well documented that technology hasn't really assisted much in this process and that exploration's pretty much failing. So how rare is it to discover an economically sized gold or silver mine?
Extremely rare. Only 1 in 10,000 mining companies is actually a success. Fortunate for us, we're located in a very mineral rich zone just south of the Golden Triangle. We have the exact same geology. We're about 85,000 hectares on the 2 properties. We currently have 6 zones that are showing visible gold and have high grade gold and silver coming back from the samples. Mm-hmm. And we've got 6 locations drill ready for spring. So, I brought a couple of little samples with me. These ones are from Lake. There's tons of mineralization in these rocks. There's gold, there's silver, there's copper, and there's many other things. But you can literally go out there when you know the zones and crack rocks, and you can find rock of this nature that you can find gold, silver, and copper in. It's visible to the naked eye. This one's from the Holy Grail.
I was about to ask you about that because I saw a recent video of yours and you were talking about the Holy Grail. Question for you: Does anybody, do they ask you, where are you going with that wheelbarrow when you go to one of the sites and you're like running down the road?
Well, typically they go from the rock getting cracked off. They go into a sample bag, and then they go from the sample bag into someone's backpack or into the back of a truck, or they go into the cargo hold of a helicopter. And from there, they go back to camp. They get broken up into the various samples, named, numbered, and then sent off to the labs for testing, and then results back a couple months later, 2 to 4 months later.
Those are actually really, really cool. And, I also wanted to ask you about the Fed. Okay, they admitted that inflation's not transitory, and this is something that a lot of people have been paying close attention to. It's not just like a little quick blip on the radar and then it drops back down and everybody is fine. This is, some really concerning stuff here. It's more structural and longer lasting. We also know that there's a lot of supply constraints. I just recently did a video with a local coin shop owner who is always on my channel talking about gold and everything, and there's a big supply problem. There's shortages, clogged ports, food prices are going through the roof. Do you think that 2022 could be gold's breakout year?
I think so. I think it's just a matter of time and when during the year. I think that probably end of second quarter, if not beginning of third, is when it's really going to start to break out. I think by then, interest rates will have gone up more, and inflation will really have started to take a toll on a lot of things. It's unfortunate times, and it is kind of scary. But these are inevitable things that are going to happen, and for gold, that's a good thing. So.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been saying for the last year or so, at least on my channel, I've been telling my viewers, gold is definitely an asset that you want to be trying to accumulate as much as you can. Now, going back in earlier on in the beginning of our discussion, you were talking about Michael Iverson, and he basically came out of retirement to get involved with Prospect Ridge. Can you discuss what's so special about Prospect Ridge?
Sure, yeah. Just to back up a bit about Mike, he's been hugely successful, co-founder, Fortuna Silver, max market cap, $1.8 billion. Their stock went from being a penny stock to being $14 a share at its peak. I think they're the 11th largest silver producer on the planet. And so anyways, nonetheless, to say this guy's been successful and does not need money.
Yeah.
He's an outdoorsman, loves hunting and fishing. He's got a big family, spends lots of time with them, and he was happily retired. And then this prospector comes out of nowhere and wants to show him all these rock samples. And Mike had a look, and it caught his interest. And so he decided to call in his own personal geologist that came up to the property, walked it, took some samples, and said, "No, this is real. We're onto something here. Like this is not a drill,
right?
Real deal." So you might want to take a good look at this. So he looked further and he couldn't help himself. He had to come out of retirement because, as he said, it looks like we have at least one mine on this property, if not a whole bunch of them. And it's our job to go up there and find out exactly what we got. We're going to start putting a drill in the ground in spring. And once we do, we're going to start how many, millions of ounces of gold do we really have?
Man. So let me ask you, is it true that insider ownership is roughly around 60%?
Yeah, it's huge.
Are you guys convinced that this is really like the mother lode moment, or?
It's coming, it might be this summer, it might be a little longer. All signs point to there being a massive amount of gold. Mike is a home run hitter who's hit numerous successes, numerous big buyouts. This is what he does. And with his years of experience and connections, he brings a lot of people, included some extremely wealthy people that have made a lot of money with him that own big chunks of this company. These are the guys that get excited to make 20, 30 million, not 2 or 3.
Wow.
So they're for the long haul. They're in this for the win, the big win.
And so like the region that you're operating in, I know that other stocks, they could go from, 700% even up to 1,000% rallies. Is that kind of, in the ballpark range of like the potential that you're seeing here?
Oh yeah, completely possible. All we got to do is prove what we know we got. And when we do, then it's going to rocket up to the moon. So,
wow.
Our job first and foremost is not to worry about the stock price, to worry about the gold that's in the ground and how we're going to get it.
Right.
So we're gonna go out there. We're gonna start putting the drill in the places where we know there's gold, and we're gonna figure out how much there is, and the data is going to do the job for us with the stock price, and it's going to go up. So how much? Time will tell. Stay tuned. I look forward to finding out myself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would love to have you back on here to talk about it and share with everybody, just how far along your company is coming to actually really hit that mother lode that you're talking about. I'm actually going to put all the information for your company down below in the description. Your ticker symbol is PRRSF. Everybody is going to be able to check your website out down below. And I really do appreciate the time. Do you have any last things that you want to discuss before we sign off?
I think we covered all the main points. One of the things that I'd want to point out to your viewers too is our location. I know we're up there in the middle of nowhere, just south of Alaska, way up in northern Canada. But we're 10 kilometers, 6 miles north of a town called Terrace, BC, as mentioned. In that town, we've got an airport. Not far away, we have a deep water port for shipping. Rio Tinto, anyone who's into mining knows who they are because they're a monster. They got a smelting operation close by. We have CN rails, so we have the train that runs right by. We've got 2 highways that access us. We've got logging roads all over because the area is being actively logged, which gives us great access to a lot of places we want to go. We have lots of helicopter outfits that are in the area. So we've got it all in terms of access. We're in the middle of nowhere, but we're not at the same time.
Yeah, you're not. It doesn't sound like you're cut off by any means.
No, it's actually pretty cool to go up there and be able to see so many different things on such a vast property. We had a day where we were flying around in the helicopter and we were hitting spot after spot after spot just because it was efficient. We could hit 6 spots in 4 hours instead of using a truck and it taking a day and a half to do the same.
Sure.
And literally every spot we took samples where they ended up showing gold. And we had a couple of geologists in the helicopter, and I've told this story a couple of times before. But Mike said to me over the headset in the helicopter, because it's really loud, he's like, you see how excited the geologists are getting? He's like, that's when I get excited, because these guys are scientists that actually prove that what we think is factual.
Right.
And it's also cool to be up there with the legendary Mike. And then these geologists were like, oh my, you believe what we're seeing? Do you believe this visible gold? You see all the other mineralization that points to a big gold deposit? And it's just like, okay, this is cool. And we're flying around in a helicopter, which is fun too.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear about it. I mean, just the sheer optimism and the samples that you just showed there. I mean, it definitely sounds like a potential for a grand slam. Nick, I really do appreciate the time again. Please feel free to come on to the channel anytime. You're always welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, we should aim for another one June 15th once that drill's spinning in the ground, and we'll talk again.
Awesome. Sounds good. So those are just some reasons as to why you should own gold. Some other reasons too that you should own gold, which I want to point out to you, is it acts as a diversifier and a vehicle to mitigate losses in times of market stress, can be seen as a hedge against inflation and currency risk. It's a mainstream asset. It's one of the most effective diversifiers. It provides competitive returns to other major financial assets. It offers downside protection and positive performance, and we all know that it acts as a hedge against, fiat currencies, including the United States dollar. And down here, which is really interesting, is we see that for the annual gold demand, we see that jewelry commands 54% of the gold supply, investments 30%, tech is 10%, central banks is 6%. So there's a lot of reasons as to why you should own gold in 2022. All the information that was covered in this video is going to be down below in the description, so definitely check it out. Are you buying and stacking gold for 2022? Do you think that this is going to be a breakout year for this precious metal, or do you think that we're going to have another kind of year where gold prices kind of remain flat? Let me know in the comments down below. And I would like to quickly thank these elite channel supporters. And if you haven't already become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, this is Empire Precious Metals. Until next time, long live the Empire.